What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Stoic Context. Today, we are going to react to another Kevin Samuels video. Before we get into it, make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm going to save my commentary for the end of the video, so stay tuned for that.
I unmuted you. I wanted to give you an opportunity to respond to what I just said.
I don't think that it's over. I think that if you know, I still have the opportunity. I think that one day I could very well be married again. Um, Understandable that it from your point of view, for him to leave like that, it must have been something very wrong. I think he needed to find himself. But I'm not saying that I was perfect because I wasn't. I'm not
When you
saying
say
that
you still
I
have
didn't have
opportunity,
any
when you say
faults.
you still have opportunity, you have a man of value vetting you to be his wife right now.
No, I'm just now getting back on the dating market.
Okay. So, how long were you married?
9 years,
Mhm. So, how long were you seeing your husband before you were married?
2 years,
So, 11 years. How long were you with the so-called alpha male?
about a year.
Uh-huh. So, 39. So, for the last 11 years, you've been with a man. You ain't dated. You don't have any idea what's really waiting for you out there.
No, I don't.
Well, I got news for you. I'm not just talking out of the side of my neck. You can believe what you want to, but there's a reason 20,000 people show up to this show night in and night out. So you can be as certain as you want. The issue is in your mirror. And I'm even more convinced, based upon after everything I said, you went immediately to he needs to get himself together. You're a divorcee of two children, daughters or sons.
One daughter, one son.
Most men do not want to raise another man's children, much less a daughter. Most men are not looking to be stepfathers. And my question is have you sat down and understood what you did that could have been done better? Where's your accountability?
I do believe that there are things that I could have done differently.
Well, what was my question? What was my question?
Which question?
Have you sat have you had therapy?
Yes, I have.
Have you sat down? How long are you still currently in therapy?
No, I'm not.
Was it religious therapy? Or was it spiritual counseling, or was it an actual clinician?
It was Christian based, but it was a clinician. It was not at church.
How long were you, and was this couples counseling? Was it individual?
It started as couples and
Mhm.
then individual.
How long did the individual last?
8 months.
So you started out with Christian counseling. So you found it through the church?
No,
Okay. So when you say it was
there's
Christian,
a system of Christian based counseling here in Texas, and so
yeah, like
I
divorce
picked a
care?
therapist. No, it
Okay.
wasn't through church.
Okay. All right. And how long so you and the therapist sat down, and what were some of the issues that you and the therapist said was animating some of your issues?
Um, my childhood, the way I was raised,
Mhm.
I could definitely learn to. Well, I feel that I have learned to talk to others better. I don't necessarily have to be as direct. I could, issue it with a spoonful of sugar. I don't have to be so blunt. Tone matters.
What about those issues from childhood?
I just the fact that I believe that I saw my mother as a strong black woman raise 4 children and do it all by herself, whether she had to work 3 jobs
What makes her a
or what.
strong black? What makes her a strong black?
Because because she didn't give up on us. She gave us everything that she had, and
How
she
many different?
sacrificed herself.
How many different fathers?
One, we all have the same father.
Is he alive?
Yes.
Were they married?
For a short period, yes.
Do you have a relationship with your father?
I do.
Have you ever got his side of the story from his mouth?
Yes.
What kind of father was he?
Absence, in jail and out of jail most of our lives.
For what reason?
Um, Drugs, alcohol, domestic violence.
But he had a history of mental illness.
Even now, my siblings and I take turns having him live with us
But
sometimes. I mean,
well, I'm just saying, drugs and alcohol are mental illness, mental health.
it's undiagnosed, but yes, he's still an alcoholic to this day.
Okay. So, as somebody who's done a lot of work with alcoholics and addicts, understand it doesn't make it any easier. But your mother and father weren't married. She was a strong black woman because she was.
Well, they were divorced.
But did she have all the kids in marriage or out of marriage?
My youngest brother in marriage. Me and my oldest 2 sisters out of marriage.
So she divorced. She divorced your father and still made kids with him.
No, we're older. My brother's the
Oh,
youngest.
so that you guys came before the marriage.
Yes.
All right. See, that's a
And they were
lot.
teen. My mom had us as teenagers,
That's a.
as a
And
teenager.
one of my point is, ma'am, that's a lot of stuff to think you worked through in 8 months. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Absolutely impossible. And my point was, we approach therapy like a slight tune-up, like an oil change. What you just gave me in 5 minutes is at least 4 years of work. Four intensive work, not 8 months. Alcohol, drugs, jail, abandonment, anxiety, single parent, and I mean divorce, abuse. You can't get then your relationship, your marriage, your parenting, your issues. That's not 8 months. You make any do you make room for that being a possibility?
To go back to counseling?
That it's not going to be 8 months. Why would it be over in 8 months? Why quit after 8 months if all that's there?
Well, I've actually planned to go back. Um,
Hmm.
I want to have a therapist that can identify more with me as a black woman. Kevin, don't drop your head like that because I felt like you were when I said it, which is why I was hesitant to say it. Um,
Because black women, I look, I've heard this so much from black women. You guys are the most difficult group of people to help because it has to line up perfectly. I don't want therapy. I don't want this. I don't want medication. It needs to be this. It can't be that. It needs to be Christian and it needs to be a black person. Ma'am, you're in crisis.
No, I went to a white woman. She helped me.
My point, and my point was 8 months, and you ended it. Why?
It was the scheduling, but I believe I am going to go back.
Wait a minute.
No, 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 no.
Wait a minute. What was wrong with the scheduling?
We I had a set appointment every week, same day, and then it changed for her, and I we couldn't find a time that worked for both of us, and it just kind of like randomly changed.
You're the boss.
I am.
You're in charge. You find a
I
time that
am.
works for her, and you carry your ass over there to her.
Okay, Kevin.
I'm just saying, ma'am. My point is that's what that perfection thing. Her schedule. So, and what I think is more likely to happen. Well, I think I'm good. I got the outlines of what's going on. I kind of understand what's going on. All right, your time doesn't work. I really ain't feeling it. I'm gonna go find me a black woman who fits me a little bit better or whatever, whatever. When you need to be, that's wasted time. So this has actually been a very insightful call because this is part of the issues with our women. You're, and I'm going to say this the nicest way I can. Black women are so hard to help. You're so hard to help. And part of it is that strong black woman bullshit. It is one of the most counterproductive things I think that have ever been uttered to a community. Because I have never, ever met, personally met, a strong black woman who's led a happy, healthy, productive, fulfilling, enviable, admirable life. Usually,
It's
when I hear
hard.
strong black woman, it's draped and dripped out in misery. Here comes Waiting to Exhale, Color Purple, and Mister. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but I'm not miserable, Kevin.
I
But
didn't.
I can
I didn't
understand. I
say.
understand where you're coming from, though. I hear what you're saying. I get it.
Strong black woman does not help our women because y'all are so used to being strong. You don't know how to be soft. You don't know how to be helped. You don't
You're right.
like being helped. When it gets too close or too real, y'all run.
It's not that we don't like being helped, Kevin. It's that we're afraid.
Well, and and,
We have the weight of the
and,
world on
and
our
whatever it
shoulders.
is, and let's just say it is okay. But here's the thing: you ladies gonna need to start telling this to each other so y'all can drop this strong shit and start dealing with the fear, because that is what motivates far too many of our women: fear, and the fear is keeping you alone. Because can you tell me that you know many women who even in their relationships they were happy?
I was happy.
I said, can you tell me you know many women in their relationships that were
No.
happy? Black women, I'm gonna tell you right now, life is not about misery. Relationships are supposed to be a source of, yes, duty, honor, respect, but they're also supposed to be a place of enjoyment, happy, fond memories. That's, but we have turned it upside down and inside out, and the fear has to get under control. And you can't just do it on your own. That's why I'm such a proponent for therapy. and it's not something you address like that. So I got a couple more people in here we're going to bring in, but that was actually good interaction. I think that was, some folks probably don't get it. All right, iPhone, let's go. Thank you, ma'am. Go back to counseling. Go
Okay,
back to
Kevin.
counseling.
I'm going back to counseling, Kevin.
Good. All right now. Good night, counselor.
This call was wild. This woman was basically talking to herself in the mirror. Look, she's been through some real stuff. Broken home, bad marriage, childhood trauma. I get it. But here's what got me. She thinks 8 months of therapy fixed everything. 8 months? Girl, you're carrying a lifetime of problems and you think 8 months is enough? Kevin was trying to tell her, healing isn't a checkbox. It's not like, oh, I did therapy, now I'm good. That's not how this works. The moment it got hard, she stopped. You can't grow if you only show up when it's easy. You can't heal when you quit the second it gets tough. But here's what really bothered me. She's calling herself strong, but she's just scared. She says she's healing, but only did surface work. She claims she's ready for love, but hasn't made room for it. Let's be real. If you've been messed up for years, it takes years to fix. You want different results? You need different habits. The fear is eating her alive, fear of being hurt, fear of trusting again. And instead of facing it, she's hiding behind fake strength. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. If you're still holding on to that fear, it's going to cost you everything you say you want. So stop saying you're healing and start showing it. Stay in therapy even when it gets uncomfortable. Stop quitting on yourself when it gets hard. You either do the work or you don't.
All right. So what's your name? Asia? Unmute yourself. You called in before? Money World. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, please. Your audio is not connected correctly. Hello? Unmute yourself. What do you do? Unmute, please. Hello? I can, but you're kind of behind. How are you? Good. What do you have for me on the topic? Yes, that's it. 20. Why are you too? Okay, but you're kind of young for. Are you in college? Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, the one that's doing the dance. Cool. Um, but you're. When did you get into? When did you start working? Okay. Okay. So, what do you want to be long term? Notice how I'm talking about. Where's the okay? One thing that I need you women to start doing is understand why do you always lead with your careers? That's masculine. What about the man? What about family? What? Okay, but you do. Okay, tell me about what you want from your personal life. Yes. Okay, were your mother and father married? Okay, but you pledged AKA. How many of the 20 Pearl founders were married? Right. I know the history very well. There's nothing modern about Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So what's the conflict? Let's talk about that. How many children does your mother have? From how many different men? Okay. You may love your mother, but who is she to tell you what you don't need when she didn't have? I'm gonna say more likely than not, your mother loved you, but she's likely sabotaged you. Because here's where you're at. You said you're an educator of second grade. Whoa. So you're gonna go raise and you're gonna go presumably raise and teach other people's children. One of the most influential people in my life was my second grade teacher. But she was married. So you're 22. So where do men fall? Where do men fall in your world then? Okay, she's 22 years old. She's the money world girl, and we're talking about her becoming a modern woman. She's a mother. Her mother has 3 kids by 2 different guys, and I'm trying to understand. I asked her where do you want to get to. I'm trying to understand why, as a woman who's an Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, you're a second grade teacher in the daycare, but you're 22. You get to decide whether or not you want to have a man. But do
Hmm.
you even know how to work with a man?
No, I don't.
Okay. Do you want to have children one day?
I do.
Okay. Then at what point do you think you need to start focusing like a laser on the deficiencies you have with working with men to make sure you don't end up a baby mama?
Hmm. Definitely now more than ever is the time to focus on that. But I've known that since about 18, 19, since I've been pushed into the world of dating, not having much luck with it. So knowing that I don't have the long-term relationship experience I would
Okay.
need to keep a man to marry them.
So you can love your mother, you can have respect for your mother, but she's not the person you need to be listening to.
I understand.
Because right now at 22, you're responsible for what happens. And it saddens me to hear so many young sisters who are teachers teaching other people's kids, and then they're going home to their dog or their cat. Um, so where are you going? Where do you think you can go get this knowledge from, since you didn't get it growing up?
I've definitely been listening to my older brother. He's the one that actually told me to start watching your channel. He's married and
Okay.
he does have a lot of good advice for me, but
Okay.
also listening to just the men that I've been talking to. I've actually been starting to ask them more questions about how they see women and what do they actually want out of their women.
Are you in an alumni chapter?
Alumni chapter? No, I just moved to Ohio. I was living in California. That's where I went to school.
Okay. Well, I would suggest joining an alumni chapter, because you'll probably find that most of the women in the alumni chapter are married. You can hear men's perspective, but you're also going to need to hear married women's perspective, because your mother made her choices. And again, you could love your mother, but I don't think you want to be a mother of 3 by 2 different men.
I definitely don't.
And the way you end up, and if you don't start, how we got here is I said, where do you see yourself in the future? And she immediately went into her career. And that's the problem. So many of our sisters go immediately into their careers. And no, I mean, long term, How many children would you like to have?
About 3.
So you don't plan on having a career. My ex-mother-in-law became a teacher so she could stay at home with her kids. See what I mean? These career talks. I want a career, but to have a career means you got to be dedicated to put the long hours in. Ladies, you cannot have a career and a thriving family. Long hours are required in our system. Can't serve 2 masters. So now, if you know you want 3 children, unless you want to be doing what so many women have done prior with the coronavirus, we had a lot of women leave their job, especially a lot of educators. In 1 month, we had 800,000 jobs lost. We've had almost 2 million jobs lost in this country since the coronavirus, and 96% of those have been female jobs. Women who were teachers, women who owned teachers, they had children and they would go teach at a public school. But in order to go do their job, they had to take their kids where? To daycare. And when the daycares closed, those women who were single with kids had to do what? Stay at home with their kids because they had no place to take their kids.
Right.
Women who were married and teachers realized, you know what? This is crazy. We're paying thousands or hundreds or thousands of dollars to put our kids into daycare while I go teach somebody else's kids. And the coronavirus taught that woman it's better for me to stay at home, teach my own kids and save that money. Teachers don't make a lot of money.
Right.
So this is why I need you ladies to hear that if you want children, that needs to be your priority, not this career that you're not going to have. Careers are for single women. How about that? Let's just put it there. Careers are for single women. You can have it, but you cannot serve 2 masters. Now, I'm quite sure there are going to be women that'll disagree with me, but what do you think about that?
It makes a lot of sense. And a lot of the confusion I've been having as of recently was, why do I want to be married? And that's what I was saying about what I've been seeing on TV. I've always seen the message that I want to be married. I want to wear the wedding dress. I want to push out the 3 kids. But why do I actually want that when my passion is teaching kids? So do I want to teach my own kids, or do I want to just spend the rest of my life working to teach kids? I don't know.
Okay. Well, do you feel like you got a balanced upbringing?
I don't.
That's why. Your upbringing was chaotic.
I am chaotic. Yeah, I will admit
But
that.
your upbringing, there was no balance. You have a brother. How many children did your mom have? 3? How many boys? How many girls?
3. My dad had many.
Okay, but your mom has 3 kids. How many boys?
How many boys? There's 2 boys, and I'm the only girl.
Your mom had 2 boys, and okay. So it is not normal to want to go, what you have to pass on is valuable. It's not normal to want to not pass it on to your lineage, but instead go invest in somebody else's lineage and make that person an asset. That's not normal for a woman. The first children you're supposed to want to teach are yours, but it doesn't surprise me because it sounds like you were raised by a masculine woman. So she didn't likely nurture, or I'm going to say she likely maintained you, but raised you to be a woman. She raised you to go get a job. She raised you to be a man. Because you're talking about children like men talk about kids. You guys carry a child. You guys bond with the child. You're not supposed to want to have anybody taking care of your child. You're supposed to be conflicted about even handing them over to daycare. That's supposed to be a problem. Because you don't know what that person is going to be telling your kid or teaching your kid while you're going to get them few shekels from work.
Right.
But
Mm.
you're talking like a man, as though, well, we just have to do what we have to do, because the mother is the first teacher of the child and the transmitter of culture. You go off and teach somebody else's kids, who's programming your children? But they come home programmed with what? What some other woman taught her, because you abdicated your responsibility. That's one way of looking at it. Number two, the way you're talking is from a single woman standpoint, as if I will never have a man. I will never be a helpmate to somebody else. I will never have a quote unquote partner. And that will become a self-fulfilling prophecy as long as you thinking that way. But if you are thinking, I need to make myself a wife so my husband can find me, so then I can have our children, and then I can raise his seed and teach our children, that's a completely different mindset.
Mm.
You get to choose. Can't choose how you're raised, but you can choose how you go into the world. But the way you're talking is like a modern woman. And if you watch my show, you're 22 right now. These are the years to be getting this done. Don't hot girl summer it up, but just take your time to focus. No, you don't have time. You need to act like need to act like you need to do this at light speed. Get around feminine energy and start learning the things you didn't learn. Reparent yourself, and love your mother. Don't take her personal advice on love life. That's just the wise thing to do. Make me a full length video with that Money World thing. Full length.
Okay.
Money World. All right. Later, Chica.
All right.
Bye-bye. Yeah, I mean, I try to be careful when I talk about folks' mothers and stuff, guys, because, that's delicate, but it saddens me to hear so many women tell their daughters, you don't need no man. You know what you're doing to your daughters? You're dooming them to a life of bullcrap because you couldn't get your shit together. No other race of women walks around talking about they don't need their men like black women do. And I would say that I'm sorry. 1 in 4 of you will marry. The average sister is 5'4", 187 pounds, and not happy. I mean, if you just look at the archetype or the stereotype, I don't think you need a man more than anybody else, because maybe, just maybe, that can help balance you out to get you back into your feminine, to get you into your actual better suited role in the world. Because you're not really good at trying to be a man, because you think you want to get out here and rough and tumble with men. Men ain't gonna play fair.
What we just heard was more than a conversation. It was a young woman standing at a crossroads, and a man giving her the clarity her upbringing never provided. Not from judgment, but from necessity. Here's what's happening right now. Many young women today are being raised to survive, not to build. They're taught to focus on credentials, independence, and job titles, but rarely shown how to be wives, mothers, or real partners. So when they finally want family, they're completely unprepared, emotionally and relationally lost. This caller had the courage to admit something most won't. She doesn't know how to work with a man. That alone is a huge first step, but it also proves the point we can't ignore. We can't keep pretending that career talk is enough to secure a future that includes family. Men are not optional if you want children within a household. You don't prepare for that future by just wanting it. You prepare by becoming someone ready for it. Too often, women are told to listen to mothers who themselves never figured it out. And out of love, those mothers pass down fear, not wisdom. But love without direction can still lead you completely off track. The woman you become is your responsibility. You can honor your past without repeating it.